In this video, I'm going to walk you through setting up Google Analytics. It's going to be a quick tutorial, hopefully, and it's sort of geared towards someone who, really doesn't have the knowledge. Of course, if you're here, that's probably why. I'm going to run through it for you very quickly. So, what is Google Analytics? Well, it's Google's tool to measure the traffic on your website and capture visitor behavior, visitor interaction. So, they refer where the traffic comes from, whether it's directly, from a search engine or it comes from a social media site, some link you posted using a campaign tracker with Google UTM parameters. So that's how they get to your website. The on-site, on-page behavior, how they move through your website, and ultimately what action or actions they've taken while on the website. So you want to be looking at how they got to that goal that you've set out for your site or a set of goals. And those goals can be conversions. And a conversion means, they took the goal action and the conversion is some sort of end result that you wanted to happen. So you can think of goals as events and actions. So events are things like viewing a certain web page, viewing a web page for a certain amount of time. It could be coming from a certain website. Sort of sets the framework of if person does this or if visitor does that. And the action part would be clicks on a video, downloads a PDF, fills out a form, does a checkout. So although you may have sets of goals, you can also have those goals set as conversions. And the conversion is, the checkout of them submitting the form, becoming a lead, downloading a PDF. Maybe they filled out a form to do that, becoming a lead, checking out at an e-commerce site. So they've made a purchase and become a customer. So they've converted just from a regular visitor to an actual customer prospective lead, for example. And the reason you want Google Analytics set up right away as soon as your website is in place is because even if you don't know what you're going to be doing with the data, you want to have that data captured right away so you have historic events and historic data that you can look at after. You'll see marketers really get into the weeds with this, and I don't want to do that here in this video, but there's a lot of not just science to it, which would be the analytics side, but there's also some art to it too. Now, the science is really uncovering what the data is showing and using things like funnels to build reports. When you build a funnel, you see exactly where the person is coming in and where they're exiting your website as well. And somewhere in there, you want those goals and conversions to happen. And if not, you can look at the historical data, see where they're dropping off, and you can use that data as basically insights to decipher what the heck is going on. Why are they dropping off? Maybe a form is broken, maybe a page doesn't work. There's also placements of your call to actions, meaning maybe it's a button or something like that. Or so you see or hear terms such as A/B testing, and that would be, well, hey, instead of putting the button here, why don't we put it up there? And there's certain standards for things, certain colors, certain placements on your website. All those have to do with the art side. What is technically science as well, but we know things such as putting so much text above fold, as it's called. Above fold is sort of the header of the page. Before you get into the body, you've got above fold best practices, and then you've got body best practices. All that's done on purpose. If you look at a professional website, nothing there is by accident. They've tested, perhaps hundreds or thousands of iterations of the same web page or the different format. It's not just about throwing up a website and saying, hey, that looks great. You should really have someone that has some insights into how to set up a web page and how to set up the pop-ups and the content. And these things are actually, as I said, it's pretty scientific. It's not just about a pop-up and you hope it converts. So you're going to use analytics for a number of things. The other thing you're going to use analytics for is creating targeting audiences for Google ad campaigns and such. You can even use it for different social media sites. But essentially, what you can do is when you've got those conversions we were talking about, or those goals, what we can do is import those into Google Ads later on and say, hey, these are all the people that have converted on my website. Now, let me advertise to the similar audience who's going to look exactly like the people that have converted before. So you want that data to retarget people, again, that convert down the road and be able to utilize that data. The more data you have from the beginning, the more that somebody who knows how to interpret that data can go in and really see what's going on. So if you want to get started with Google Analytics, head on over to marketingplatform.google.com, or just go to Google and type in Google Analytics, and you'll be taken to the landing page. Now, I don't discount at all the information that Google provides. They really do a great job of giving resources and documentation. There's some case studies here as well, and their help articles are really, really useful because they want people to get the most out of their products. And you can learn more about Google Analytics 4, which is the new Google Analytics, and that's over at Skillshop. And Skillshop is where you can just there's a bunch of courses, getting started using Google Analytics. You can do a certification for it, and you can learn more about, local. If you're a local business, you can do local search. And you can really get more into the weeds with it over at developers.google.com/analytics/learn. And there's a learning path here. And this is basically broken down by role. So if you're just migrating, or if you're a small business audience, or a marketing specialist, or a developer, they've basically got different materials for the audience that you are. And again, about the Skillshop course, and then they've got some YouTube videos, which is a great way, obviously, to digest this content. Okay, so if you haven't got started or created an account, hit the get started today, which is the call to action here above the fold. As of the date of this video, I'm going to go ahead and sign in. All right, I'm going to hit start measuring, and this is the way that the wizard is set up for the moment. So it should be noted that under one account, you can measure your primary website. You can also measure a subdomain if it's a separate site, like you might have blog.website.com or app.website.com. You can those are considered properties on Google Analytics, so you can add different properties under one account and manage that traffic differently. And you can even, cross that data inside of here. I'm going to call it website. That's what I'm measuring. So, based on your region and based on the industry you're in and the information you want to capture from visitors on your website, these would be the things to look into. And this has to do with a lot with regulation and privacy concerns and so on, and sharing the data between different Google services and what data they collect from your website as well. So, do you want to give? So, first of all, Google products and services. So doing this is basically, if you integrate your analytics with Google products and services, they're going to cross-reference that. Now, look, Google is offering you a service for free. Are they going to use your traffic to improve and, gain insights into your information? Of course they are. It's up to you if you want to use that, but this will be able to cross-reference them with their, let's say for ads, for example, they're going to look for being able to cut down on fraud. This also allows you to get enhanced demographic and interest reporting, because what they're doing is capturing the data from individual users, and that's from people that are signed in specifically. So if you want sort of anonymous visitations with, aggregate data, leave that on check. If you want specific visitors that are signed in with Google, you would click that. Modeling, contributions, and business insights. Basically, it's aggregate data that you're sharing, so they don't know who the customer is, and they're going to provide you in return with sort of recommendations and insights based on other websites or businesses with similar profiles as you and similar engagement, and show you how you're comparing to them. So I think it's a really cool thing because Google has all the data. Even if they don't show it to you, they're able to say, oh, well, you're performing, 10% better than similar sites, or worse off than XYZ, and make suggestions and predictions. So I would definitely keep that on. It's great AI. And if you want Google tech support to access your account, and if you want to get Google recommendations, so why not? I'll take their suggestions. I like to see they're not always good suggestions. They're pretty good, but at the same time, it can get you into the weeds if you start clicking buttons and enabling a bunch of stuff that you don't need. So let's go ahead with all those. Okay, so my first property is going to be the website, reporting time zone, Okay, choose your business objectives. Okay, so this will help with their little insights. We're going to we're going to do leads, and we're going to examine user behavior. Data processing terms. Obviously, I've read all this in advance. Jeez, just assume that is what it is. And yeah, I forgot to mention also that you can collect analytics data of Firebase from Android and iOS apps if you want app analytics. And if you didn't know, so this is a website. I'm on the web. Stream name my website. Back on website again, and they've done a great job with measurements before you really had to sort of learn about analytics to be able to set up. Page views are already there, but for example, site search, video engagement, file downloads, those all had to be set up separately. So they're really including a lot now. Enhanced measurement. I'm just going to click on this here just to show you. So if you've got special queries by default, if someone does a search on your website and they're searching for something, this is handy for e-commerce, but also just for maybe it's a knowledge-based guide or people are searching stuff in your site. That gives you feedback of what people are looking for. So should you maybe not have an article about what people are searching for, you've seen it a few times, and okay, we should create something on this. Maybe you can get insights into some pain points, or there's a product someone's searching for that you didn't think about, or adding, and so on. So recognizes default queries like Q equals, S equals, search equals, it could be query equals, iPhone, whatever. And you can specify your own if your search tool uses different query parameters than the defaults. All that looks good. And if you want to take off all this other stuff, you certainly can and just measure views only. You can take off all this other stuff. But we're creating a stream now. We've got our installation instructions. If you're using something like a CMS, let's say for WordPress, I want to see what they're using. WooCommerce, SiteKit plugin. So they're recommending either Monster Insights plugin or the SiteKit plugin for WordPress. You can also type in here, if you're using WordPress, Google Analytics, uh, Monster Insights. I've got SiteKit. I don't like to use a plugin unless I'm already using it. Sometimes they're included also in your SEO plugin. I don't like to do that. I like to put my code without a plugin because WordPress usually already has a lot of those, and you don't really need them unless you do, if you're not so technical. So what I'm going to do here is copy the tag. I'm actually going to go into my theme options, which is already loading here. And I'm going to put it in the head. Okay, so I've saved that directly into the template. All right, that test came back positive. It's reading the tag. Now it's going to take a little bit of time here and some traffic before you get any data in Google Analytics. It could take easily up to 24 hours to do that. Okay, they say 48 hours here even. Okay, so the only other thing is this configure tag settings. And more, you could define internal traffic here. And this is if you want to put in your IP address so that when you're scrolling your own website and just testing and doing a bunch of that stuff, you can add an IP address to be internal that won't get measured on your Google Analytics. So you can set that up here as your IP address or your range if you're in an office or something, and have all the internal traffic blocked. So you can add that condition here. You want to figure out your IP, you can click this little link here and add it. And yeah, other than that, that does it for the first video, which is about getting started and getting it set up. So let's wait a couple of days before we get some traffic, and we'd certainly look for the next topic here, which will be some additional settings for Google Analytics and making sure everything's up and running. And so join me for that one on video number 2. See you later.